welcome to the Rundown. I'm Ryan Dugan, and with me via voice chat is our good friend PJ Pedersen. PJ.
What is going on, Dugan? And hopefully you had a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, certainly have. It's been a busy off season so far, indeed. I've been traveling around
Yeah.
covering a bunch of things.
Well, not only that, but I'm jealous because once again, you, along with Anthony Ainsley and his lovely wife Lydia, and the entire crew, got to experience another awesome Gateway Dirt Nationals. And I want to give a big shout out to Cody Summers and his crew once again. Made a few little tweaks and changes, and what an amazing show! I stayed home and watched it. One of these years, I'm going to get down there with you guys. But awesome job to Cody, to everybody there. And of course, the winners, Brandon Shepard, back-to-back years. And sorry, but I can't remember the modified drivers. I think the last name was Neville, but swept the entire weekend. What an absolute awesome show.
It was an awesome show indeed, and went into the show expecting like normal expecting show. I've been going since 2018. It's an awesome show. You don't want to miss it. Check out the pits. It's always a great time to see all of our racing fans from every corner of the racing world, all around the nation. And even further than that, even like everyone comes out to St. Louis for the Dome race. It's awesome. Dirt in December, dirt in the Dome, late models modifieds, great racing, and we only had one rollover all weekend.
Yes, but
It was
you
one of the
got to
ones that went
preface
out of the
that.
park.
No, and that's just it. You had not one but two cars. The one of them being the one that rolled over, going out of the park. First time that's ever happened. But and of course, Charlie Mefford once again tried stealing the show. So it was awesome. I mean, like I said, one of these years I got to get down there with you guys. It's definitely a bucket list event. But you know what, Dugan? We're done with Thanksgiving. We're done with the Dome. PRI just wrapped up. We're on the home stretch to Christmas. Guess what comes after Christmas?
Oh, what comes after Christmas is a month long of racing over in Arizona. Take a look here. We got the IMCA TV Winter Nationals payouts lined up. Is looking good, but it's going to be 2 weeks of racing from the 8th of January all the way to the 18th of January.
Now, here's the big change. Usually every year, you guys start off, because obviously you'll go out there and help IMCA TV with the broadcast. Usually it's 2 weeks in Cocopah, then 2 weeks in Casa Grande. However, Cocopah, not on the schedule this year. It's going to be a full month between the 2 weeks of Winter Nationals and 2 weeks of the Ernie Mincy early thaw, a full month in Casa Grande, Arizona, hometown of Chase and Shelby Alves.
Yep, and I might actually be helping them out this winter for the Winter Nationals, because I like to drive down there anyway. And it's for me when it comes to it's moving away from Cocopah, it's kind of a hit or miss thing. I don't know what to expect with Winter Nationals moving to Central Arizona Raceway. Me personally, I kind of like it because it's closer to Phoenix, but we're gonna miss Yuma. It's a different feel. It's definitely it's a little warmer down there in Yuma, but I always like to bring my wheeler down to do some trail riding in the off days. And I mean, no matter if you're by Yuma or if you're by Casa Grande, you can find some trails pretty close by. So I mean, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like I'm gonna miss out on much, but having a full month at one track, that's gonna save on setups and headaches for me and the crew broadcast wise. But as for the racers, I think it'll be a nice thing as well because guess what? You're in the same spot. You don't have to worry about hauling the trailer off to another track in 2 weeks. It just stay there in a month if
Exactly.
you want to stick there for the entire month for the Winter Nationals and the early thaw.
Exactly. And you're talking about payouts, of course. Modifieds is going to be 1,000 to win, as are stock cars and sport mods. Hobby stocks will be going for 500 to win each night. Now, here's the difference. Week one, it's going to be your IMCA Mach 1 Sport Compacts. They'll be going for $350 to win each night. Week two, the compacts, we say goodbye to them. We bring in the Stars Mod Lights. And am I correct in saying the Mod Lights were not part of it last year?
I believe this will be the first time the mod lights are actually part of the Winter Nationals that I know of it from. We had dwarf cars show up, I think, 1 year, which I think mod lights were maybe part of that. I can't remember. I'm just trying to think back on years. Everything kind of blends together when you go to so many races. I don't even remember where I went last week. Oh, wait.
But
It
they
was
will
a
be
show I
going
didn't
for
have to
five.
work.
Yeah, but they'll be going for $500 to win each night. Of course, IMCA TV not only bringing you all the action, also sponsoring the Winter Nationals. Once again, both weeks at Central Arizona Speedway, moving over from Kokopah. I understand that there's a good chance that might only be temporary, but for right now, everything is all eyes are going to be at Casa Grande for the month of January.
It's going to be a fun time no matter what. I mean, we're looking at racing in Arizona in the wintertime. Get out of the cold. Come on down south. Go down just south of Phoenix over to Casa Grande, over to the Central Arizona Raceway. Enjoy 2 weeks of racing if you want to do just the Winter Nationals, or enjoy the entire month of racing by coming out for the Ernie Mincy early thaw, as well as it will be IMCA show for the Winter Nationals, and the Ernie Mincy early thaw is a combo deal between Wissota and IMCA. So the Wissota boys get to have a 2 week adventure coming down for the early thaw, as they have the past couple of years over in Casa Grande. So it won't be a change for them. They're going to have the same track.
Well, and not only that, but if you go into New Mexico, you're going to have the Wild West Shootout going on about the same time. So there really isn't a whole heck of a lot of off season anymore like there used to be. Things are going to kick off. Speaking of kicking off in 2025, a lot of series and tracks are bringing their schedules out. One track that they don't have a schedule out yet, but we do know, thank the Lord, after everything they went through this past year in 2024, they will be back. And I know it's a special track for you because this is where Advantage Racing TV got their start. Rock Rapids, Rapids Speedway, after historic flooding took out the season. Rocky's back in 2025.
It'll be back in 2025, and as you can see here on the screen, uh this was sad to see. All this was before the floods actually hit. So this is like the day we got rained out on that Friday. We were supposed to have tri-state late models on this night, and
Yeah.
it rained and it started going heavy and heavy, and we just started looking at um the rest of the racing for the rest of the week, and it just got worse from here. In fact, I'll pull it up here, I'll scroll up at some more pictures. This is another picture where, as you can see, it's just flooding more and more, and it was all the way up almost to the top of the banking in this picture. And then the rest, and here's some of the damage when the flood waters finally receded. You can see all this concrete got tore up, and in the background over on that building in the center, I believe the wall got busted out of that one, and they
Well,
condemned
and
that
what
one.
what a lot of people don't realize, if you go back to the one with the picture with the concrete, is once the waters receded, there were several pieces of that concrete that had 10 to 12 feet of dirt dug out underneath of it from the floodwaters. It wasn't just the concrete buckling, it did a lot of damage underneath of that.
That it did, and I was looking to see if there was a video. I know we put a video out there, and I think it might have been on Darren's personal page, but
They were boating in the infield.
they were Joel Fisk made it to victory lane in the boat class, quite literally. They were out there moving some barrels that had floated into the middle of the track. Darren Cordell's promoter out there with his wife. They were putting out a video going over the damage, and there were some pretty deep holes. It was not like 2014 where the floods had come in and it just kind of receded, and I think turn 3 got hit in 2014 where it kind of busted there. This time when the floods came in, it just whole like the river, almost like the flow of the river kind of changed directions and just ripped out a bunch of dirt from the inside of the fairgrounds. Like all the concrete, and a lot of freshly poured concrete too, got the dirt ripped out
Yeah.
from underneath of it.
It's
But
it's
okay, go ahead.
amazing. Something that we need to live on can be so destructive at the same time.
Absolutely, Mother Nature, you don't want to mess with her. Oh yeah, here's where they were starting to clean up and having everybody help out with moving the sand and the silt from all the river water that just came through. So all the cleanup efforts, they had a lot of help getting them back in order and cleaned up. So good to see volunteers
But
show up at late summer.
sure. Oh yeah, but the point being, Rapid Speedway will be back. Again, no schedule out yet, but you can guarantee once there is a schedule out, we will be covering that because this is probably some of the best news that we've heard in the off season already.
Yep, it said we know I've been anxiously waiting updates. This was back in August 29th of this year. That said we're happy to announce we will be back racing a complete schedule in 2025. So glad to see that Darren and Michelle will be back in action for the 2025 season. We definitely hope them the best, and we'll be ready for them when they come around.
Yeah, I was going to say, Advantage Racing TV will have every lap of action from Rock Rapids like they always do.
And then they went on to, if you've been following their page, they've been sharing and shouting out their sponsors for the track, all their sponsors, because they didn't get their whole season, so they didn't get a chance to shout out all their sponsors. So they're going out there, and I can see them doing this yearly too, because this is actually a good thing for a track to do in the off season. Is thank your sponsors for helping you put your season on.
Oh, exactly. And that, that's one thing that you and I both know is, yeah, we need the fans and the drivers, but without the presenting partners helping us out, there's no way the track can keep going. So, glad to see it. And we say it ad nauseum, but we mean it all the time, every time. Support the businesses that support the sport because they're the reason you're able to go check out your local track, no matter where it is, every weekend.
Yep, it takes a village to run this community we have, and we have a very good community of racing for sure. Like anytime someone's down, there's always going to be somebody like helping out and supporting in some way, shape, or form. Even like rivals at the track, like you'll see them like all of a sudden a wreck happens and you'll see like 5 teams go at it and jump in and help get the car back on track because the racers are like, I don't want to win this way. I want to beat you on the track. I want to have
Yeah,
fun. It's like it's
exactly.
more fun with more cars on track.
So, as we said, there are some tracks that have their schedules out and some very interesting things happening at some tracks. Starting off with my home track, the place where I did the first 9 years of my announcing career, Crawford County Speedway in Denison, Iowa. And this one, we're not going to try and dwell on the negative, but this one is a little bit of a head scratcher. Um, Going back to 2023, there were a couple of classes that there just were 4 or 5 cars total coming in, but they ended up instead of cutting the purse for them, they cut the purse for the class that was the biggest class they had, which was the Race Saver Sprint cars. Well, this year, you look at the schedule, there is not a single Race Saver Sprint car show on their schedule. They are bringing back the IMCA late models, the modified stock car, sport mods, hobby stocks, and compacts, but yeah, and obviously they're going to do no racing on Memorial Day weekend, and it looks like they're going to try and do an October special at the end of the year, but no Race Saver Sprint cars. I've got to kind of scratch my head on that one, Dugan.
I mean, that one's scratching my head too, but I mean, I'm obviously not one in the loop of everything that goes on with Crawford County Speedway. And even though I got connections with like obviously the racing broadcasting, like we broadcast the races, we go out there and we hem out and do the racing broadcasting, and some may think it's like we have an in, it's like what's happening at this track, what's happening here, or what's the plan here, do you know if they're going to rain out or is it worth it or this and that. It's like we typically don't know, like especially like when it comes to like rainouts and everything. It's like we're going to know when everybody else knows. But when it
Yeah.
comes to stuff like this, where it's like if a track puts out a schedule and it's not having like a class, or if they add a class, it's like we're not going to know that answer, and I don't really want to know that answer. I've got so many tracks I got to worry about. I don't. It's like, how do I justify? "Oh, I got to know everything." It's like, I mean, the humanity has me curious. I mean, I'm curious, but
Right.
I'm just like, I don't know the answer. And as you can already see in the comments, there's already like Maddie Miller, sprint car drivers, not the happiest out there. But even Ewald, who's a compact guy, he's happy that the sprints are gone. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's just it's weird. But they do have a bit of a longer schedule than they had in years past, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly. They're actually going into August this year, and they're going to have a October special. So
Well,
that's already more than it was.
actually, usually it's about the same length of schedule, except for the fact they're taking Memorial Day weekend off. Usually the last Friday of April is Spring Fling, which you see is April 25th.
Yep.
Start the season off on May 2nd, and then August 1st will be the season championship, unless they need to use that August 8th rain date, which is built in. And then, of course, right now looking like the 3rd of October, a possible special there as well. So as you can see on the screen, that is the Crawford County Speedway, Denison, Iowa, the big 3/8 mile there in the hometown of Donna Reed and Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman Brandon Sheriff. Another track that has put their schedule out, and this one is an sugar honey iced tea moment in this one. Boone County Raceway, Albion, Iowa. You see, May 2nd is going to be their opening night. They're going up through August 22nd. But I will tell you right now, Sunday, July 13th is what you want to be there for. The Tanner Pelster Memorial. And I had talked to Ryan Kumpf about a month ago, and he goes, I can't give a lot of details, but this is going to be the biggest payout for stock cars in Nebraska history. And boy, was he not lying. Your IMCA Sunoco hobby stocks, $3,111 to win. Stock cars, $10,111 to win for the 5th annual Tanner Pelster Memorial. And I know Delmer Pelster, this is probably the most important race to him, period, because obviously it honors, a member of his family, Tanner, a great racer, a great guy. I never got to know him myself, but man, the stories I've heard about Tanner, I wish I could have met him. And man, this one, you've obviously been to a couple of the Tanner Pelsters as a broadcaster. You've seen how cool this is going to be. Imagine they're going to be scrapping for $10,111 in stock cars.
No. I've only been part of one Tanner Pelster Memorial. I've been to the Boone County Raceway, I believe, a few times now. One for an Independence Day special, one for a stock car special. Both of them happening over roughly the same weekend over a couple of years. And then this past year, after rain delayed the show, their original broadcaster couldn't stick around. I don't know what happened there exactly, but we got the call and said, hey, I know it's last minute. Can you guys make the run? And we were able to make the run and put on a good show. And I do believe after all was said and done, Delmer was happy. So we're happy to make the promoter happy, and we're happy to make the tracks happy and the fans happy. And it was a blast of a show. It was an awesome show seeing everybody. And was it Michael Jeanette of all people went back home in Iowa and came back with a separate car?
Yeah, it was a whole deal where the second night got rained out, and Michael Jeanette had, I believe, something wrong with the car. He decided to go home and was just going to call it quits. Then at the last minute, reloaded the car, came all the way back, and finished the rest of the show out. I mean, it's stories like that. This thing, it's only in the 5th year of existence, but you got to think, coming all the way from Kellogg, Iowa, going home and then coming all the way back, this thing already has a ton of notoriety as a memorial race. And this is already in its 5th year, one that everybody in the stock car class, even before this announcement of the payout, had circled as, we want to hit that, we want to race that. And I'll tell you, you and I can both agree, the Boone County Raceway in Albion is a racy little joint. That place always puts on a good show.
Oh, that it does. Every time I've gone out there to cover a race, it's always been 3 and 4 wad racing in the stock cars and the hobbies, and even the other classes out there. They had the late models out there this year, and now for the 5th annual, it's going to be just down to the stock cars and the hobby stocks. And looking at that payout, I can completely understand why. You're going to have a lot of racing in just those 2 classes, so they're just going to hem it down to the stock cars and the hobby stocks this year. But it is going to be a banger of a show you do not want to miss.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we got some of the schedules out of the way. Boone County Raceway talked about Crawford County Speedway a little bit. What's next up on the docket, Dugan?
Well, there is some news happening from the Harris Clash range. It is not going to be at Deer Creek this year. They went out and put a little video out there. Bob hopped up in front of a camera and they shared it out. As you can see, the wonderful info about the Harris Clash. It's going to be in a new date, at a new track, and a new class. They are finally adding what we've been wanting to see for years now. Stock cars are going to be part of the Harris Clash at the Boone Speedway.
Yeah, and not it obviously this started off at Knoxville Raceway, which it got its notoriety from being there. Then all of a sudden it switched over to Deer Creek Speedway, which Deer Creek
has
top notch facility. I mean, just absolutely put on some great racing. But and this is my opinion, take it as you will. Knoxville is known for as a sprint car track. Deer Creek is known as a big special type of track. It never really felt like it was a IMCA home event. It was an IMCA sanctioned event for big money that was put on at other tracks. This, I have a feeling it's finally going to feel like an IMCA home event for big, big money because, well, let's face it, Boone Speedway, home of the Super Nationals, the place that even on a weekly show, if you win there, you've done something. You've accomplished something big in your career. Well, now you not only have the Super Nationals, you have the Harris Clash coming to Boone. That, and like you said, not only is it going to be sport mods and mods, welcome to the Harris Clash, Sunoco stock cars. Oh, this thing is going to be awesome.
It's going to be a fun one to do. June 24th this year. And I've already seen Marshalltown's put out a special event. I don't think he's hashed out the deals, but he's put one out for June 23rd. So it sounds like there's going to be an IMCA Speed Week in the area, just going off of those two dates. And I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a special event at, say, Clay County coming out around that date. There's already a big Clay County show that we're going to have to talk about in another episode here. So we're already over 20 minutes on this, PJ. Holy cow, we can go on.
So the Harris Clash, June 24th, Boone, Iowa. Welcome stock cars. Gonna kind of trying to wrap this up a little bit. We have two big schedules that we wanted to go over. First off is going to be America's home track, Eagle Raceway. We're going to start off with Mini E. The go-kart track does have their schedule out. They're going to go ahead on Friday, April 25th. Rage Midwest will do the season opener. They're going to be going all the way through Friday, August 15th. Uncle Frank's presents the Mini E Championship. And then they got something new this year. Saturday, October 4th and 5th, Eagle Hollow Screen Park presents Nightmare Nationals as a special event. It's not going to be for points, but additional classes will be added for this event. As we get closer through or more through the season, there will be more information coming out about that. That should be a really good event on that beautiful little track in the infield at Eagle Raceway. If you've seen it on Advantage Racing TV or in person, you know that is a racy little track. So Friday nights, if you have nothing going on, you're near Eagle, come and check out Mini E Raceway. The big track, Saturday nights, this year's theme is going to be Showtime. And as you look through here, you'll notice every weekly event has some kind of a theme, whether it be a movie, TV show, whatever. Obviously, we're going to be starting with rehearsals practice on the 12th and 17th of April. Friday, April 18th, Saturday, April 19th, the annual Icebreaker Challenge will be coming up. That is going to be, trying to look real quick, that's going to be mods.
Yeah, they kind of their little deal is a little bit.
Okay,
they label their classes by letter, and down here at the bottom of this, you can see it. The B is Avid Realty Sport Mods, H is the Valentino Hobby Stocks. So, and then the C is for stock cars, which A1 Iron is normally the sponsor for the stock cars, although they don't have it listed here. So, are we going to see updates for this year? And M for modifieds. which was
I'm
Nebraska
sure that they're
Realty
probably.
Modifieds.
I'm sure they're probably still actually Nebraska Lottery.
Yes, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds. Yep.
Oh,
I
I
thought
thought you
I
said
thought I
Nebraska
thought I
Realty.
said that. I'm no
But
no Evan
anyway,
Realty Sport Mods. Yeah, I thought I saw it, but
yeah.
either way.
But anyway, they'll be coming up with a list of the full sponsors shortly. Speaking of Avid Realty, Theron Allman always does a great job of stepping up and sponsoring Championship Night, which you see August 23rd, Avid Realty Nebraska Septic Curtain Call Championship Night. But throwing a little more skin in the game, he is going to be sponsoring the opening act season opener on April 26th. So Theron Allman, Avid Realty. Of course, they also bring you the Avid Realty 2-seat sport mod you can win a ride in. Doing a great job stepping up. Of course, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, May 15th, 16th, 17th. And I know Boone County Raceway, US 30 Speedway, and Beatrice are shutting down that week because they did it once last year. Now it's a 3-day show. Malvern Bank presents the High Banks Heist. 10,000 to win on Thursday and Friday, 50 grand to win for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. Mods will be Thursday night support class. Stock cars will be Fridays. And looks like the Nebraska Septic Sprint cars will be your support class on May 17th on Saturday. Another one we want to talk about real quick, that is going to be Tuesday, June 10th. High Limit Holdings presents the Eagle Nationals. That is going to be the High Limit Series itself, coming back in for the third year in a row. And one that you're salivating over, Dugan, and I know you're salivating over it. Trying to find it. That is going to be Saturday, June 7th. Nope, that's not
June
Saturday,
4th.
June 7th.
You say
June
salivating.
14th.
You say salivating. I'm interested to go just to enjoy it because it's the Dukes of Hazzard Duel is what they're calling it, and it's the Dukes of Hazzard Duel because at the end of the night it's going to be a tough truck competition. I'm interested to see how they're going to do that one out. It's always fun to watch tough trucks go out there and bounce around and throw it all on the line just to get a little paycheck or a little plaque or trophy at the end of the night, and they usually end up with a chunk of a truck.
Another one that should be interesting, that's going to be Saturday, July 26th. Fast and Furious Fan Appreciation Night, $5 off adult grandstand. But during intermission, a kids' inflatable costume race. How could you not like that?
That's going to be fun. Oh, and the very next week after that, look at that. It's
No,
that
the
70s
Hillbilly Slip and
Showdown.
Slide is back.
Yep, that's going to be a fun one. Beginning of August, go over to turns 1 and 2 after the races and slide down the banking. You don't get an appreciation for how steep that banking is until you're on that track and you're standing at the top of turn 1, looking down all the way down there of turn 1 and 2, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, this is really steep. And you can do the same thing over at turns 3 and 4. It is a very high banked track.
Saturday, August 23rd will be the Avid Realty Nebraska Septic Curtain Call Championship Night. But as always, the work is not done. Sunday, September 7th, Tyler Perry Enterprises will have the Stuart Alley Memorial that went off last year and went really, really well. But of course, Eagle Raceway, very much known for this, I believe, will be the 12th or 13th annual IMCA Race Saver Nationals, Thursday, August 28th through Sunday, August 31st. And it's going to be 4 nights. Oh, my, oh, my. Dugan, we've both been a part of this, and it is quite the undertaking, but man, is it so much fun.
And it's the great thing about it is it's at an awesome facility. When we came down there for the first time we ever did the Race Saver Nationals, which led into doing weekly out at Eagle Raceway, we got to Eagle and the hospitality of the crew, Roger Hayden, Racine, everybody, Kurt, Dan, James, now you're involved out there as well. Everybody from the ticket counters, Jana over there signing us in, the people next to her signing everybody else into the pits, the ticket people at the front, every bit of the concession people working their tails off. It just feels like home going there on a Saturday night.
And that's why they call it America's home track.
it feels like home when you go there. It's literally 4 days, 3 days of racing. Well, actually 4 days of racing if you count the qualifying, if it doesn't get rained out like it has last year and the first year we were there. But if it does rain the practice out like they did, they'll just move it into the next day of qualifying. And they add that rain date in there, which we haven't had to use a Monday in a while. So we're good to go there. We haven't used a Monday since I've been there. And
Yeah.
good thing, because I don't like missing out on my Mondays at Super Nationals, because that's when they do hobby stock qualifying and sport mod qualifying and someone's stupid ass kicks off. That's right. I do the the cannonball run of end of August into middle late September of just running to racing specials. So quite literally, Race Saber Nationals into Super Nationals. That grind is it's a grind, but it's so worth it, and it's so worth it to start it out with the Race Saber Nationals at the Eagle Raceway. They put on a show every single week. It's why they get such great fan counts. It's why they got the good car counts. They don't mess around. They keep it moving. They keep the show entertaining. And if you want a fireworks show, you will get one every single week at the
Oh yeah.
at the Eagle Raceway, and especially for the 4th of July special and the Race Saber Nationals. They don't skimp out on the entertainment value.
No, and don't forget, not only do you do Race Saver Nationals right into the very next day after Race Saver Nationals, you start Super Nationals, but the week after Super Nationals, you guys also go to US 30 Speedway and do the Abe Lincoln Memorial, and that kind of segues into our final schedule we want to talk about, and we wanted to spend some extra time on this, not only because, well, it's special to me because I announce there with Anthony Ainsley every week, but because and also the fact I do the PR for the track, but we have some big changes at US 30 Speedway in 2025. As you see the schedule up there. As always, the Race Saver Sprint cars will be back twice during the season. They will also be there for the Abe Lincoln Memorial, but it's going to be on May 25th and July 3rd. Now, you're probably scratching your head going, wait. Sunday, May 25th is a Sunday. Yes, it is. So what is going on? There is a committee that was formed of sponsors, drivers, staff, including myself, that got together over the offseason and came up with some new ideas. One of those is we are going to have a few selected Sundays, which in this case right now is 3, although Sunday, August 3rd is scheduled as a possible rain date makeup. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and run on a Sunday instead of a Thursday. Now, the reason for that is a lot of drivers from all over central Iowa, the Siouxland area, you name it, have always said they want to come and run US 30, but they can't do it on a Thursday night. Even though we run a tight ship, we run a quick night, they can't do it and make it back in time for work. So, with that being said, this gives them a chance because we're going to start 2 hours early on those Sundays to get in there to come check out US 30 and have some fun. So Thursday, April 17th, we're going to start the season off. And it's going to be stock cars, late models, sport mods, hobby stocks, and the Crown Vics. Yes, the Crown Vics are back. Another big change that we have this year, it used to be that the Elite Mobile Blasting Modifieds and the National Auto Seals late models would flip-flop. Well, this year, we're going to be running late models every week except for the 2 nights of sprint cars are there. The modifieds and stock cars are going to flip-flop. So the 17th and 24th of April will be stock cars. May 1st will be modifieds instead of stock cars. Then we go on from there. Obviously, Thursday, May 15th, we already talked about it. We are taking that week off for the High Banks Heist, and then we go in from there. 2 other nights to look into. Thursday, May 29th and Sunday, July 20th, the Crown Victorias will be gone because the MCSA vintage cars will be coming in as well. And then, of course, Thursday, August 7th, we did it last year, and what an amazing show it was. The Malvern Bank Super Late Model Series will be back at the home of Thursday Night Thunder. Thursday Night Thunder and occasionally the Sunday Night Delight, I guess you could call it. So they'll be
Yeah, you can
back, and of
say
course
that.
we will end our season as always September 12th and 13th, the weekend after Super Nationals at the Abe Lincoln Memorial. As always, hot lap start at 7:20, opening ceremony 7:55, racing starts at 8. Sundays it'll be 5:20, 5:55, and 6. And this has definitely kind of been a mixed bag already. We've had a lot of positive response, a couple of negative responses, especially with like Stewart Raceway in Nebraska being on Sundays and stuff. Here's the thing about it. This was not a decision that was made lightly. I talked to Bobby Lincoln almost every day. Him and Janelle put a lot of thought into it. They talked to a lot of drivers. They basically went and did a lot of traveling to all over the place, especially at Super Nationals. They talked to drivers. They're like, "Hey, if we did this, what would you guys think?" They got an overwhelmingly positive response. So and unfortunately, this also kind of banks into the fact that Interstate Speedway, we don't know what's going to happen with it. Obviously, with it being for sale, it kind of made it to where the stars aligned. Even though we lost the track, the stars aligned. So why not give this a shot? Because that's one thing about Bobby and Janelle. They're constantly trying new things to improve the racing, to give more drivers a chance to run. And the Sunday thing was something that we're definitely going to try and see if that works.
I mean, that it is, and yeah, it's sad to see them go at Interstate, but I mean, there's always going to be rumors swirling about what the track is going to end up having to it. I've heard so many rumors. I don't know what's going on with it. I've heard the railroad bought it. I heard the track across the street bought it. Park Jefferson. I've heard Wayne bought it. I heard he bought the gear. I don't know the truth, and the truth will only have to come out when it comes out. I'm not going to know because I mean I'm usually one of the last ones to hear about it. Okay, sometimes I hear a little bit more about stuff, but when it comes to the Siouxland tracks, I literally don't know. Like I've heard the rumors, but that rumor didn't pan out. I heard the railroad bought and they were supposed to tear the track out and tear out the gear and start working on it the week after that it was told to me. And that's been 2 months gone now. So that clearly didn't happen. So I don't know. Rumors are going to be rumors, and you'll always hear
Yeah,
rumors in the racing world.
true. But everything else has all been speculative. And the thing is, this schedule could have been out 3 weeks ago. But because of rumors being told about what could possibly happen, because the last thing Bobby and Janelle want to do is step on toes. So they waited a good 3 weeks to put this out to see if the rumors they were hearing were going to pan out. And it's been radio silence. So finally, it comes to a point where, you know what? It's time to sugar honey iced tea or get off the pot. And so finally, this schedule actually, the day we're recording this, was the same day as the Boone County Raceway swap meet. So the schedule actually dropped at the swap meet, and then we threw it on there afterward. It's time. We can't wait anymore. Everybody else is dropping theirs. We had to drop ours. So if something does come up and Interstate does come back on board, that's awesome. But these 3 Sunday dates are locked in, possibly a fourth if we do need the August 3rd rain out. Hopefully Mother Nature is nicer to us than she was in 2024.
We all hope that Mother Nature is a little bit nicer to everybody when everything is said and done. And speaking of the random Sundays, Murray County Speedway experimented with doing some Sundays as well when it came down to it with their Hub City challenge. I think that they call it Hub City Series or something like that. They ran a random Sunday or a few Sundays in the summer, and it seemed to work out pretty good for them. It didn't step on too many toes. I think it only interlapped Interstate twice, I think at most when it
Yeah.
did do it, and we didn't see any hit on our car count or anything like that because the tracks are far enough away. It didn't really matter much in the realm of weekly racers. So it can work. I don't know how it's going to work, but it does open up the ability for racers that can't normally make it on a Thursday and get back to work on a Friday, to get down to US 30 and give them an option to come down early on a Sunday, get out early, because as I know from being there experience and from what you've said as well, US 30 doesn't mess around with their program. And even though they start at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, you guys get out at a pretty decent time.
Yeah, very rarely are we not throwing the final checkered flag right at about that 10 to 10:15 p.m. range. If it's a big caution fest, then I think maybe 10:30, 11. But we definitely do everything possible to make it as quick a show as possible, but still be as entertaining as possible for the fans. And you've witnessed it yourself. That track, for whatever reason, just breeds three wide racing, multi groove. Danielle Lepore, which is Bobby and Janelle's oldest daughter, she does an amazing job with the track prep, and it shows in the racing in every class every week.
It was a 3 wide. You're selling yourself short here, PJ. The first time I ever got to go down to US 30 Speedway, I was treated a 5 wide the stock cars in just the heat racing.
Yeah, and we've had that too. I mean, but 3 wide is pretty much the norm.
Well, it can get a lot more racy, that's for sure. I've seen a lot of great racing out at Abe's US 30 Speedway.
But no, the schedules for them are out now. Of course, there are still some that are out we haven't had a chance to talk to or talk about, and some that aren't out yet. Off-road Raceway, the Midwest Madness Tour schedule. We know the dates. We don't know the tracks yet. Shelby County Speedway, Beatrice Raceway, Worthington, Park Jefferson, stuff like that. So, there will be more episodes of this as the news kind of comes out, and we can go over a few more of the schedules, some more news and note stuff as well. But, right now, these are the ones we kind of really, really wanted to hit on pretty well. The biggest ones I'm kind of waiting on is going to be old Trent Chin dropping the schedules for both the Buena Vista Raceway and especially Clay County with the big stuff he's got coming again this year, him and Mike Van Genderen.
Oh, June 1st to the 4th, we already got that big event planned. The I'd say Summer Nationals. We're going to have to cover that on another episode there because we are already over 40 minutes. And I kind of wanted this to be a little bit of a shorter series. And we're already almost getting closer to an hour. Jeez, PJ, we could talk about stuff. There's a lot of news to cover.
What was it you wanted to say? 8 minutes? I think we blew by that a while ago.
Well, I wanted to at least make like the 10-minute range. And 4 times that works out right. Anyway, Advantage Racing TV, your home for the Midwest racing. We got our YouTube, and we're also just starting a Rumble channel as well if you want to get away from the YouTube land and go to the Big Green website as well. So we got Advantage Racing TV on YouTube and Rumble. We got Facebook page, Advantage Racing TV. We're on X, Twitter as well. Trying to branch out to all the socials so everybody can have fun. We have memberships available on Advantage Racing TV YouTube where you can see our releases before they get released to the public on the YouTube side. Also, we have AdvantageRacing.tv where you can access our scheduled live streams and have access to all of our previous races in one location.
You say you're trying to go for all the socials, but I still can't get you on the Tickety Talks.
Well, TikTok is, we might have to bounce into that a little bit. Once again, we're starting to branch out, get a little more socialized out there. You know how it works out. You know how it goes, right?
Oh yeah.
It's hard to follow everything.
I'd say it's a pretty successful first episode of the rundown. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe, of course. And we'd love to hear some comments from all of you. Maybe some news and notes that you might want to hear about, or maybe some thoughts on the schedules we went over tonight. Make sure that you do comment. And as far as that goes, I think we're pretty much about ready to wrap this up. So, PJ Pedersen, I'm going to go ahead and do my sign off, and then Dugan, send it over to you. As always, be smart, be safe. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and we'll see you at the races.
Gonna throw it out with a controversy right there at the end. I'm on the same side as you. It's as a recent study has come out. It turns out it's the most Christmas Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard is. And don't forget about Die Hard 2. Either way, as for the racing side, thank you for watching this inaugural episode of The Rundown. I'm Ryan Dugan. With me was PJ Pedersen. Great to hear from my friend there as we talk about some of the news and notes, and to look forward to some more news, notes, and events happening in the dirt track racing world. Thank you once again for watching The Rundown.